Alright, so like I said, cladograms will be on your test. So I want you to scroll down past number 3. And that's going to be the first cladogram. So what a cladogram is basically, it's also called a phylogenetic tree. So it could be called either one. So cladogram, or, and I think I put that in the assignment. Either term, if you see those, it's talking about the same thing. So it's basically just this little, it's called a tree because it's got like one main part to it, and then there's branches off of it that show itself. So this bottom part down here would be the common ancestor. So this would be the one that's the closest to the common ancestor. And then it's going to show you traits in here. So for this first one that we have, it's got a lancet. And then the next one's what? Lamprey. And then a tuna.
Then a salamander.
What's next?
Turtle.
And then leopard.
Okay, so the trait for between the lancet and the lamprey. What is it?
Vertebral column.
You're looking at the cladogram and you're answering questions that I'm asking you based off of it. So these are the animals up here, and these are the traits that have developed between this animal and this animal, or this animal and this animal. So the one between the lamprey and the tuna?
Jaws.
Jaws. Tuna and salamander?
4 walking legs.
Salamander and turtle?
Amniotic egg.
Okay, so amniotic egg, what does that mean? An egg. What does amniotic mean? Have you ever heard that term before? So amniotic fluid is just the fluid, like if a woman is pregnant, you know, like when her water breaks, that's the amniotic fluid. So this means that it's an egg with amniotic fluid contained inside of it. So this would be like a chicken egg or a reptile egg or whatever. So it is in an egg, but it does have amniotic fluid in it. And then from a turtle to a leopard, hair. Now these are not the only changes. These are just some major changes that go between those animals. So that's basically how you read a phylogenetic tree. The closer they are to each other, the more closely related. So the lancet and the lamprey are going to be more closely related than the lancet and the salamander. Okay, so the closer they are, the more closely related they are. All right, so you've got the questions down through there. What traits separates lamprey from tuna? You can answer all of those in just a minute. Which organism, 7 says, which organism's DNA will differ the most from the leopard and why? So we got leopard here. Which one's going to be the farthest away DNA? Yeah, it's going to be the one farthest away on the cladogram, so it'll be the lancet. Because it has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 traits difference from the lancet to the leopard. So the further away they are, the more genetically far apart they are. All right, if we look at the next one, it gives us sharks, ray fin fish, amphibians, primates. Look at the little, you see that little weird thing with the primates and what? Rodents? Okay, let me draw this one. Okay, so on this one we've got sharks. What's next?
Ray-finned fish.
Okay, then what do you have?
Amphibians.
And then,
Primate.
and that's the one that's got the little branch off of it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the branch?
Rodents and rabbits.
What else?
Birds.
Okay, so it's given different traits. Remember, this will be your common ancestor. So it went ahead and gave a trait right here and said this was vertebrae. Everybody knows what that is, right?
Back.
What?
Your back.
Yeah, your back. I thought you said fat at first. I was like, no!
Yeah, for your face.
No! Okay, so vertebrae, your vertebrae are in your back. That's your spinal column. Then we've got bony skeleton. What's the next trait?
4 limbs.
4 limbs. Then what?
Amniotic
On the hair.
So up here it was hair.
Then the next one, eggs with shells.
And then what?
That's all.
That's it. Alright, so you can see that you got this little mammal section that broke off right here and they put the hair up there. Then you've got eggs with shells for the reptile part of it. Do we have eggs?
Not an
Yes, you
amniotic
lay
egg.
eggs.
No, we have an amniotic what?
Person.
No. What's that?
Womb.
It's called an amniotic sac. So
I feel that
it's basically like the eggshell. Have you ever dissolved an eggshell in vinegar?
Yeah.
So you can dissolve an eggshell in vinegar and it'll leave like the little sac that the egg is in. That's basically, we don't have the shell anymore. We just have the sac that the amniotic fluid of the baby is in.
Do that for.
You said
Watch
any
it.
more? Did we once have a shell?
Huh?
You said any more? Did we once have a shell?
No, we didn't. I'm just saying like based off of like
Yeah,
this
let's
stuff.
vinegarize a shell.
What?
Let's vinegarize.
Okay, we
an
might
egg.
vinegarize a shell. So, all right. So, what separates rabbits, primates from the crocodiles in this cladogram? What was the thing? Yeah, it was the hair. Which organism is most related to the rodents and rabbits?
Primate.
Yes, the primates. They're on the same branch, so they will be really closely related if they're on the same branch. What 5 traits? Okay, you can do that on your own. Which organism will have DNA most similar to the bird? So if we look at the bird, the one closest to it is a crocodile.
Because birds are just.
They're just tiny dinosaurs. Yeah. Which organism's DNA will differ the most from the bird? The sharks, the ones that are the farthest away from it. Okay, so the next one is on insects. You're going to have to try to fill that in. And then the next one shows the evolution of land plants as indicated by fossil records. So it's got different types of non-vascular plants and vascular plants. Non-vascular plants are like mosses and like lichens, the little leafy looking stuff that like sticks on trees. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay, so those are non-vascular. That means they don't have a vein system in them. They just kind of live off of stuff, or they just grow real tiny because they don't have a vascular system. That's why mosses never get like huge. Vascular plants have like a vein system in it for water and food to move through. So those will get a lot bigger. So ferns are vascular plants. Gymnosperms. These are words that you will see on your test. So, gymnosperms are going to be like your ponds.
Oh, that moss is pretty big.
Yeah, I mean it's big, but it just kind of grows in like a wad. It just kind of blobs out. It's never going to get like
It's as
huge.
big as their kids' heads.
Alright, so gymnosperms are like ponds. Angiosperms are going to be your flowering plants. So flowering plants, how do they reproduce?
Spores?
No.
Okay.
These ferns and mosses and stuff will have spores. Gymnosperms are like pines. How do they reproduce?
When?
What's the question?
How does a pine tree reproduce? What is it?
Not pines.
It produces a pine cone, and inside the pine cone are
Seeds.
seeds. They're down in there. So it is wind pollinated. The wind will blow it. And then the wind will disperse the seeds. Angiosperms are flowering plants. How does a flower get fertilized? Bees, insects. So these are going to be your flowering plants. So you do need to know gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, and then we're going to skip the cytochrome stuff. So we're not going to do anything on that back page.
Nice.
We are going to look at some cytochrome stuff when we start reviewing, but it's going to be a chart. It's going to be super easy to look at, and that's all we'll need to know with that. All right, so you need to finish the rest of that. Then you need to go back up to the top, and you're going to draw the cladogram for that first one. I didn't want to start out with drawing a cladogram because you didn't really understand it until I went over it. I mean, you could have figured it out, but...
Which one does it start at, the worm or the dragonfly?
The first part, guys listen up, first part is to help you see what they all have in common, so then you can make your cladogram. Okay, so you're going to, like the worm, does it have cells?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they should all have cells, right?
Hopefully.
Okay, so then does a worm have legs?
No.
No. Spider, carpenter, ant, housefly, and dragonfly?
Yes.
Yes. So antenna,
No.
wings, 2 sets of wings. So you're going to have to categorize them, and then you're going to draw your own cladogram. It's okay if you don't get it 100% right. Just try to attempt it. Okay? So go through and finish the rest of those questions. And like I said, you can just write it on a separate sheet of paper and turn it into me, and then draw that cladogram. Does everybody understand what you're supposed to be doing?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And you understand cladograms? They're not hard.
No.
Okay.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.